I'm having my beloved necklace in the picture today. I just wanted to feel its very regal energy. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, that the necklace was created by the fabulous Crix Beeble. I will put her information in the box below. Okay, that's very soothing. All right, so let's take a nice deep centering breath to enter into this sacred space. We're leaving the outside world to its own devices. And for this moment, nothing else exists but this moment of now where our attention and our intention lies. I'm going to share my prayer flag prayer with you. Okay, nice deep centering breath. May we never lose hope. May we never lose faith. May we never lose trust in ourselves, in each other. May the wind consecrate our dreams and our deepest soul-felt prayers. May the wind scatter them to the four corners of the world. May our love receive and be and fulfill all. May it be so, and so it is, and so it is. Okay, today's reading, I like to open up the book, and wherever the pages fall to, that is our message from the Tao today. And we're going to first read from Lao Tzu, translated by Ursula Le Guin, living with change. When the government's dull and confused, the people are placid. When the government's sharp and keen, the people are discontented. Alas, misery lies under happiness, and happiness sits on misery. Alas, who knows where it will end? Nothing is certain. The normal changes into the monstrous, the fortunate into the unfortunate, and our bewilderment goes on and on. And so the wise shape without cutting, square without sawing, true without forcing. They are the light that does not shine. Very interesting chapter. Kind of reminds us of the political climate of today. Hey, don't you think? So that was chapter 58. And I always like to have at least another translation. So that was 58. So we're going to go to John C.H. Wu. A little sip. Throat is really scratchy. Okay. Here we go. This is from Shambhala. John C.H. Wu. Where the ruler is mum mum, the people are simple and happy. Where the ruler is sharp sharp, the people are wily and discontented. Bad fortune is what good fortune leans on. Good fortune is what bad fortune hides in. Who knows the ultimate end of this process? Is there no norm of right? Yet what is normal soon becomes abnormal, and what is auspicious soon turns ominous. Long indeed have the people been in a quandary. Therefore, the sage squares without cutting, carves without disfiguring, straightens without straining, enlightens without dazzling. There you go. There you go. There you go. Again, it really, thousands of years go by. The human condition is always awry. Always. Okay, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put the handy dandy bookmark in. Okay, but I know it was up in the, okay, so we were on day 2. I have to hopefully remember where we ended. Okay, yes, this is where we were. Okay, so we are on greetings. Thank you for being here, David Lux. Welcome. You were just in time, even though I'm 18 minutes into this recording, just now getting started. And let me move this over a little bit. So we are seeking the spirit of the Book of Change. So we are on day 2, Dwi, and previously we read Ti and Yi, divination, and what else did we read? We read this. Did we read the story of the creation in Gua? I believe so. And today we are on Fuxi, the first Chinese shaman king. All right. So, sitting on my bathrobe. Oh, hold on one second. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Got my cup of tea. Do you have yours? So we can sit and savor. Fuxi, the first Chinese shaman king. We have another sip of tea and meditate on it. Go ahead and take your sip. After a few minutes, I take out a Chinese Yijing book to share some information with you. In the Yijing book, Xie describes Fuxi, who invented the Bagua, 8 trigrams, through his observation of his own body, other beings, and patterns of nature. And you remember, as we read in the beginning, the very beginning, the Wu would center the 4 directions upon their own body, and the center of their body was indeed the center of the universe. So studying their own center, they were then able to crack the code and begin to understand the energies and secrets of the universe. So just remember that. We are the universe. Jie is one of the most important old Yijing commentaries, and it literally means appended statements. There are 10 commentaries to the Yijing. It is commonly believed that Confucius wrote them to assist people in understanding and understanding the terse and cryptic language of the original text. Today, these are included with the text of the Yijing and are referred to as the 10 wings because they assist our minds in understanding the deeper meanings and thus help us achieve greater heights. In other words, we could not fly, reach the high level, to the Yijing knowledge without the 10 wings. Jie is one of the 10 wings. All right, I just set my tea there. And those of you remember, this is my sticker from my Spirit Keepers, using that as a bookmark. It's a little gift sticker that B.MSc left in there. Okay, here we go. Fuxi is one of the oldest shaman kings in ancient China. His name was written in a different way in some documents because Chinese is a very complicated language system. The same Chinese characters may be pronounced in a totally different way in different regions of China. For instance, the Chinese character for tea is pronounced cha by the northern Chinese. In my hometown in southeast China, we pronounced it te. And in most parts of my home province, people pronounce it shou. The same Chinese character may have many meanings, and different regions may use different Chinese characters to represent the same object. In some documents, Fuxi is written as Baoxi. Fuxi is the original ancestor of the human being according to many Chinese myths. Here is one common version of these myths from different tribes in China. Long, long ago, a huge flood occurred in the world. It destroyed everything and killed almost all beings. But a boy named Fuxi and the girl named Nuwa were hidden inside a hulu gourd. This hulu floated on the water for many days. After the flood, the boy and girl came out of the hulu. They were the only human beings who survived the flood. Later, they got married and gave birth to many human beings. They became the first ancestors of the human beings. Some scholars believe that the names Fuxi and Nuwa actually have the same meaning as Hulu because they had the same or similar pronunciation in ancient China. Nuwa is the yin perspective of Hulu or Fuxi. In the Taoist traditions, Hulu is considered a symbol for the Tao. Isn't that beautiful? Can you guys see that? Look at that. Oh, when I first saw that, it kind of gave me chills. And I don't know if that's a dragon or a dinosaur right there. It looks like a little birdie flying. Would that be water? It looks like two dancing figures, and they're almost touching. Let's see. So that is Fuxi and Nuwa. This story tells us one of the important patterns of the Tao. The Tao generates the yin qi, and the yang qi. It also reminds me of one Yijing divination of the Tao. The combination of one yin and one yang in the Tao is the Tao. Fuxi or Nuwa is not merely a person, it is a symbol that represents the Tao in ancient Chinese civilization. Therefore, many old Chinese documents record that Fuxi besides being the inventor of the bagua. Hold on one second. I'm so sorry. I needed to get something for my leg. Okay. Let's go back. Therefore, many old Chinese documents record that Fuxi, besides being the inventor of the bagua, invented many other things and was the first to teach people some of the necessary life skills. He is credited with naming and taming animals, riding horses, making fire, cooking food, and many other things. He invented the fishing net, hunting, rule and law, the ching, and other musical instruments, mathematics, Chinese characters, the calendar, and the city, among other things. So here is an image of a Hulu. I will never look at Hulu television again the same. Okay, sorry about that. I had to get a little propping up of my leg. Through his careful observations of nature, Fuxi learned how to categorize different things. Now, I want to insert a commentary here, because before we had a Fuxi and Nuwa, and I hope in our minds that we don't negate the feminine aspect, even though it's been distilled into one being or one energy, Fuxi. But we did read on the other page where it was Fuxi and Nuwa, and it seems like to me in a way they sort of merged into one. It says some scholars believe that the names Fuxi and Nuwa actually have the same meaning as Hulu. I believe intuitively that it was Fuxi and Nuwa together that, even though Fuxi is the name that gets the credit for all of it, personally, my feeling is that it was Fuxi and Nuwa together because, of course, the yin and the yang is mother to the 10,000 things, creates the 10,000 things. The Tao is the mother, and then the yin and the yang, so Fuxi and Nuwa. So that's just my own, I could be wrong, but that's my own thoughts as I'm reading this. He understood, through his careful observations of nature, Fuxi learned how to categorize different things. He understood that the best way to classify different objects was to use the number system because the abstract quality of a number could help to sort out the differences among the objects. Oh, and another thing that popped into my mind, even though it's not particularly mentioned in this book, I know for a fact that many, many, many of the ancient Wu were actually females. Okay, just saying, just putting that out there. We, in order to restore balance to this world, in order to heal mankind's mind, there must be a unification, a rectification, a restoration of not just the feminine principle, but the feminine and the masculine principle joining, taking its rightful place together, not one in opposition of the other, not just focusing on the goddess as a way to destroy the patriarchy, but masculine and feminine energies coming together. Again, that is my own spiritual commentary on this. Wow, that tea is divine. Okay, where were we? Okay. For instance, each trigram has countless layers of symbolic meanings, but each trigram is made up of only 3 lines. The most important thing is that Fuxi determined that the binary system is the basis of nature, and he invented the Bagua, 8 trigram system, to represent the way of nature according to the binary system. It's so interesting how today people are like, I'm not taking part of the binary this, binary that, foo, whatever. It's the way of nature. There's yin energy, there's yang energy, there's feminine energy, there's masculine energy. Interesting, when the philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz of 1646-1760 CE examined Fushi's Bagua arrangement, what he saw upon substituting a 0 for each yin line and a 1 for each yang line was that Fushi's arrangement represented a perfect binary numbering sequence. This helped him discover the binary system, which is the foundation of virtually all modern computer architectures. That's pretty wild, eh? Within the Yijing. And also remember, you have 64 hexagrams. Does that remind you of the DNA helix? So this is a ching, the musical instrument. It almost reminds me of like a violin strut. I think that's what you call it, right? The strut of the violin. The Bagua has two different arrangements. They are Qiantian Bagua, which is prenatal trigrams arrangement, and the Huatian Bagua, postnatal trigrams arrangement. I think these two different arrangements represents different stages of the cosmos, a person, or object. Bagua, the 8 trigrams arrangement. Bagua is the model of the universe and everything in existence, including every part of the body. Belongs to one of the trigram. Ancient shamans, ancient Wu, understood this connection, and they brought this connection into their interpretation of their divination. We have to value this if we study Yijing philosophy and divination techniques, because this connection is fundamental to the old divination school of Yijing. The Bagua is made with 8 trigrams: Qian, Dui, Li, Zhen, Jun, Kan, Gen, Kun. So that's heaven, lake, fire, thunder, wind, water, mountain. Kun is earth. Each line in a trigram will be either a solid line, which is yang, or a broken line, yin. The solid line is called the yang line, and the broken line is called the yin line. Yin yang is one of the most important concepts in Chinese culture. We will discuss yin yang later. Let us continue to focus on the Bagua for now. Fuxi invented the Bagua to help others learn the universal way. I think it will help us to understand why the Bagua has 2 different arrangements if we first take a look at a cosmic myth. Let me see, do they show you? Since Master Wu has mentioned the 2 different arrangements more than once now, but there's no image of it. Let me see if I can find it, and I will show it to you through B.MSc's Yijing translation. So one moment. As you know, I primarily use her thin book, which is just pretty simple and only has what I need when I'm just sharing the daily hexagram with you, not doing a reading. So I always read out of this book, this little thin one. This is the one I carry around with me. But then we have the thicker book. And it is in this book that we have... Oh, by the way, it is believed that the Lady of the Ninth Heaven, who is the protege of the Empress Mother of the West, is the one that taught the Yellow Emperor the Yi Ching. Okay, so this is the prenatal Bagua arrangement, and this is the later heaven, the postnatal. So early heaven Bagua, heaven Bagua. And I'll just read you just a little, just so you have a kind of a working visual. So when we read it, you kind of know what they look like. So this one, so like you have heaven and then you have earth. So it seems like you have the exact opposites on either side. And this one, let's see. This one's a little bit different. Okay, let's read it. So early heaven Bagua, science and nature, based on the He-Tu spiral sequence or river pattern, represents the spiral dance of creation and the theory of an expanding universe, expresses the natural course of nature and fate and the physical laws of nature. And in the later Bagua, the later heaven or postnatal, magic and divination. So this is the natural flow of things, and this is when you want to try to, figure it out and see how you can affect your outcome. Magic and divination, based on the Lo Shu magic square, represents the alchemy of a practitioner or magus, changing the course of nature, expresses metaphysical principles and the nexus through which the physical realm can connect with the spirit realm. So this is where you're just completely and utterly only going with the flow. And this is where you're, sort of, okay, let me harness it and kind of direct it, I guess. Okay, so I just wanted to give you that image. And so now you know why you see the 8 Bagua in different representations. Makes me want to go back and look at Lost and see what the Dharma, which one did the Dharma Initiative use. Oh, speaking of Lost, it wasn't, I have probably watched Lost, the entire series, probably 6-7 times. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but it was very interesting. It originally came out 14 years ago. Wow. Because I remember I was actually in Australia when Lost debuted. I mean, I didn't see it until I came back to the States, but so that was back in 2004, and it was 2013, 2010 when I began my Buddhist minister training, Dharma minister training, and graduated in 2013 as an inducted Buddhist lay minister, non-sectarian. However, I like to refer to myself as a Dharma minister, oneness minister. But after going through my training, or even during the course of it, and when I would watch Lost, then it like really, I opened up and I really saw all of the metaphysical and Dharma spiritual references that were actually in that show. That was a pretty deep, there's a lot of symbolism in that show. So now that I'm looking even more deeply into the Bagua, I'm interested in seeing which chart of the Bagua it was the Dharma Initiative established on. And I'm also curious to know if the chart changed, like if each of the different initiatives had a different version, like which one had the pre-heaven and the post-heaven, the prenatal and the postnatal. Okay, so let's get back to the reading. I like to digress. Okay. The Bagua is made up of 8 trigrams: heaven, lake, fire, thunder, wind, water, mountain, earth. Each line in a trigram will be either a solid line or a broken line. The solid line is called the yang, and the broken line is called the yin. Yin yang is one of the most important concepts in Chinese culture. We will discuss the yin yang later. Let us continue to focus on the Bagua now. Fu Shi invented the Bagua to help others learn the universal way. I think it will help us to understand why the Bagua has two different arrangements if we first take a look at a cosmic myth. Everything has its imperfections, the same as heaven and earth. Therefore, in ancient times, Nua refined 5 colored rocks to fix those imperfections. See, I knew Fu Shi didn't just do it by himself. Nua refined 5 colored rocks to fix those imperfections. She cut off the feet of the giant turtle to make the 4 pillars to support heaven and earth. Later, 2 leaders from different tribes, Gong and Xuanshu, fought for the position of emperor of China. Gong hit Buzhao mountain and broke the heavenly pillars and earthly supports, which made heaven lean to the northwest, and the sun, moon, and stars move toward that space. The earth lowered to the southeast, and all the rivers and water systems flowed downward in that direction. From this story, we can see an ancient Chinese cosmos. In ancient times, heaven above and earth below were in an upright position, and the axis of the earth was vertical. Somehow, the universal energy made a dramatic change, and heaven shifted to the northwest, and earth was broken in the southeast. So the axis of the earth has been tilted ever since. This story may not seem to make much sense to you. It made no sense to me when I first read it. Since this story is from China, we should link it to Chinese geography. I understood the story after I had traveled around to many places in China. Northwestern China is in a high altitude area, so you would have the feeling that heaven is leaning on the earth if you lived in that area. But at the edge of southeastern China, you could see only the ocean, and of course, rivers run to the ocean. This story is related to the time period in which Nua lived. It was the same time period in which Fu Shi invented the Bagua. The shifts of heaven and earth in the story indicate that the 2 different arrangements of the Bagua are the symbols of the cosmos before and after the shift. Yes, David Lux mentions the earth axis is on a tilt. Yes, it is. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to finish this reading and then we'll be done. And tomorrow, Friday, we'll pick up for the movement for the day. Okay. This story, okay, down to the next one. I make a new pot of tea. We sip the new tea. And then I open my Chinese Yijing book again. I just took a sip of tea as I'm waiting for Master Wu to open his book. In the Yijing Gua, one of the 10 wings, we will discover some details of these 2 arrangements of the Bagua. Jiantian Bagua, prenatal, 8 trigrams arrangement, and the Huatian Bagua, postnatal. 8 trigrams arrangements. Here is the statement about the Jiantian Bagua. Heaven and earth settle into their positions. Mountain and marsh or lake, mountain and lake intermingle their chi, their vitality. Thunder and wind intertwine with each other, and water and fire do not repel each other. The 8 trigrams interconnect with one another. To learn where we are going is the forward way. To know where we have come from is the reverse way. In this arrangement, Qian, heaven, is located in the south. Kun, earth, is located in the north. Li, fire, is located in the east. Kan, water, is located in the west. Dwi, or marsh, or lake, is located in the southeast. Zhen, thunder, is located in the northwest. Zhun, wind, is located in the southwest. Gen, or mountain, is located in the northwest. This arrangement stands for the great primordial cosmos before creation. It also represents a being before the birth, the prenatal time. And so we're going to go back to our book just to see that arrangement again. So, what did he say? This arrangement stands for the great primordial cosmos before creation. So this arrangement stands for the great primordial cosmos before creation. So sort of like you can think of in Kabbalistic terms, how does it go? Tzimtzum, the expansion and the contraction, or the Big Bang. Let's read the next paragraph in Gua, which talks about the Hautian Bagua. Oh, okay. Supernatural beings supernatural being makes everything emerge from Zhen thunder. All things are well arranged in Zhen wind, meet each other in Li fire, obtain nourishment in Kun earth, celebrate in Dwi lake, interact in Qian heaven, return in Kan water, and achieve in Gen mountain. It may be difficult for us to understand this statement. Gua gives a further interpretation. 10,000 things emerge from Zhen thunder. Zhen thunder corresponds to east. The 10,000 things are arranged well in Zhun wind. Zhun wind corresponds to southeast and signifies that all things are clean and neat. Li fire means brightest, clear. All things meet one another. It is the trigram of south. The sage faces south to administer affairs of the world and govern with brightness and open heart. Brightness and open heart. Because of the symbolic meanings of Li fire. Kun earth. Kun is earth, and all things absorb nourishment from earth. Therefore, it is said, obtain nourishment in Kun. Dwi, lake, corresponds to exact, autumn, west, all things rejoice. Therefore, it is said, celebrate in Dwi, interact in Qian. Qian is the trigram of northwest, and it represents yin and yang approaching each other. Kan is water. It is the trigram of exact north and represents return. All things return. Therefore, it is said, return in Kan. Gen mountain is the trigram of northeast. All things achieve accomplishment with commencement. Therefore, it is said, achieve in Gen. Gen, achieve in the mountain. This is really interesting. I would really encourage everyone to get a copy of this book, because this is, we're just going over a quick reading, but this is something that you really need to really read and meditate and bring it into your being. This arrangement represents the cosmos after creation. It represents a person after birth or an existing object. So what I'm understanding is the prenatal represents the unmanifest, and then the postnatal represents the manifested. Because before a child is born, they're unmanifest. They have not been manifested yet. And once they come through the birth canal, then they're manifested. The prenatal and postnatal Bagua arrangements are the fundamentals of the old Yijing divination school. In this old divination system, no one referred to the Yijing book because the knowledge existed long before the book was written. This divination system is based on the Yijing knowledge of Xiang, symbolism, and Shu, numerology. In the Qian Tian Bagua prenatal trigrams arrangement and Hua Tian Bagua postnatal trigrams arrangement. I think we should let our brains take a rest now. Let us leave the discussion about the knowledge of Shu, numerology, and Xiang, symbolism, for the next couple of days. We should practice some Tai Chi Qigong again. So we're going to leave here and we will pick up this, I think, our next reading. So our reading on Friday is going to be a little bit shorter and we'll go through there. Okay. So any questions, any commentaries, any thoughts? Thank you for joining me this morning. Wow. Okay. It is 8:19 a.m. and each and every one of you is appreciated. And I'm just going to leave that there because an hour, that was enough reading. So please remember to thumbs up this video, to share this video, invite your friends to subscribe. The more the merrier. So I thank all of you for being here. Let's take a nice deep centering breath. Let's take a moment to remember our ancestors and all those who have come before us. I'm Tamu Ngina, Priestess Heart. I wish you peace, complete and perfect peace, and great bliss. And again, I just want to encourage you that it is okay to acknowledge the emotions that you contain. It is okay to allow yourself to express your emotions. To remember that you're not your emotions, but that you have emotions and expressing them is healthy and natural. Sometimes we want to laugh. Sometimes we want to cry. Sometimes we want to shout and stomp our feet. And it's okay. It's okay. So don't ever allow anyone to say to you, oh, well, why are you upset? I thought you meditate. I thought you did this and that. And you're a human being. and you were designed with all different types of emotions and energies that flow through you. Acknowledge them, respect them, express them. Do not suppress them. Suppression of emotions is what leads to dis-ease, to disease. Just thought I'd share that with you. Have a beautiful day. A beautiful day. Beautiful, 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 beautiful day. Peace.